Ramattra's abilities look absolutely insane. Let's break them down. Let's take a look at some examples and explain just what is going on here with these abilities. Now, Ramattra has the most abilities of any hero in the game. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now, this is his primary fire in Omnic form. Now, remember, he's got two forms, Nemesis and Omnic form. Omnic form, you get the Void Accelerator. This fires, as you can see, a stream of projectiles in a fixed pattern. And look at the damage this is doing. And yes, this is causing crit damage as well. If you watch this, it's not doing too much damage to Roadhog there, just firing into his sort of gut. If you shoot him in the head, though, it will do a ton of damage. Look at range, still seems good damage. In fact, it seems the same damage at range. And those are headshots going into the Zenyatta. This looks very, very potent. You can see it's got 100 ammunition. This has it. You can fire this for quite a long time. So this is going to be really, really strong. Again, this goes back to the idea of the developers saying this is a hero that you will be able to kind of change tempo with, I guess, or they're calling it like a tempo tank. So you're poking and then you go into your tank form and rush forward. Of course, the sort of, well, it's not irony, but there are tanks that already do that in Overwatch already. So yeah, but the thing is, this form looks very powerful for long range poke, and also just like people are not going to expect this damage when it comes at them. It's just like, oh my god. I mean, look how fast this Zen dies. He is just literally dead. That is disgusting. Now, it must be noted that Void Accelerator is only available in the Omnic form. You don't get access to this when you're in the Nemesis form because, well, that would be a little bit silly. But yeah, just don't forget the damage this is doing here, guys. It's ridiculous. Let's move on to the next ability in Omnic form. This is the Void Barrier. Now, I think the way to look at this is it's kind of a May wall that's just a barrier. In fact, I think just look at it like a May wall. I mean, you see it pop up there? I think it's got 900 health there. Maybe we can catch that when it pops up again. It's either 1,000 or 900. I think it's 900, right? Maybe 950 or something. I don't know. But let's just say over 900 health. It kind of really doesn't matter. This is enough to sort of block spike damage coming in. And I think that's what the point of this ability is. Now, this is going to be really good for pushing through a choke. Think if you're playing Ramattra, you're running forward, maybe on Icon Volt, first point attack. You're running forward with your Void Accelerator, firing at the enemy. You throw this in their face, then you go into Nemesis form, and then maybe use block or keep running forward. There's a lot of options you've got with this hero, but I think this ability is going to be really strong, honestly. I think it's going to be really, really strong. It's not a barrier in the sense of an old school barrier where it's going to be frustrating to play against because there's only one tank now. But I think of it more like a May wall, I think, instead of an actual barrier. Okay, this is the Nemesis form, and this is Pummel. It is the primary fire in this form. Now, this has got one very powerful component to it. It goes through barriers. Yeah. Now, Ramattra looks amazing. I love the way he does this with his crosses his arms that he's not using. It looks really good. Looks like his board is like, oh, okay, I'll get the big fist out. But he looks really good. Anyway, this primary fire, think of this like, I mean, look at the range on that. I think if one of those squares are a meter, we could probably count it actually next time it comes up. Count the range of that. Let's do it. I'm going to do it. Let's do it. But the range, I mean, there, I think you can actually do damage at more range based off the next picture. We're going to go into a video clip. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at least 8 meters there of range on that. This is going to be quite frustrating to play against, I think, because you're not going to expect the damage. Because when he goes into his tank form, I think a lot of players, and I'm going to be the same, you're going to be like, oh, right, he's a melee character now, but actually he's not. He's got like 8 meters of range. So you're going to be like, oh, yeah, I can sort of get close to him. No, I can't. I think Cassidy's going to suffer because I'm going to be like, yeah, trying to throw a sticky grenade at him when he's in this form and he's just going to like pummel me from range. But I think this is an interesting take on a melee attack. I mean, melee attacks can't all be a Reinhardt hammer swing. So it is good that Blizzard are looking to, you know, sort of swap this up. But yeah, this is Pummel, and you basically punch forward, creating a wave of energy with each swing, and it goes through barriers. So of course this means Winston is not going to be able to juggle inside and out of his barrier because you're just going to be able to ignore his barrier. Reinhardt is just going to take damage from you anyway because his barrier does nothing to it. So this is quite powerful. Okay, let's take a look at the Nemesis form's secondary ability. This is block. Now, let's take a look at some of the stats the next time we go around on a video clip. But this basically, I mean, look, he's got 600 health. Still got 600 combined health and armor, but look at the damage he's taken from Roadhog's primary fire there. It was practically nothing. Now, it only blocks from the front. The other thing to take on board here is look how slow he is moving when he does this. Now, when we talk about team comps in Overwatch 2, we often talk about heroes that remove weaknesses of other heroes. We look at Kiriko being very strong with Roadhog and Reaper because Kiriko's ultimate basically removes their weaknesses of slow fire rate. They suddenly get really fast fire rate. I think Ramattra, again, benefits from that as well. Ramattra is also going to benefit from Lucio, I think, in a very big way. Because if you're able to move this guy into a fight quick, it's going to be ridiculous. Talking of ridiculous, this is probably his most OP ability. This is absolutely ridiculous. So this is Ravenous Swarm. This is available in Omnic and in Nemesis form. You can see there it's a shared ability. So you throw a nano ball, it explodes when it hits the ground, only the ground. It will slide off walls and stuff like that, and it has to hit the ground. And it slows enemies in the field. It also roots enemies in the field, so doesn't like totally root them in place, but it pulls them out of the sky. You can see the Pharah there just gets pulled down to the ground. This means it's going to be quite a strong counter to Mercy movement. If Mercy's flying around, you throw this on the ground, pull her out of the sky and kill her. It also does damage as well. This is a lot, right? You imagine this in a choke point. Again, this is going to be so powerful. Like, you imagine throwing this. Oh, this ability is really, really strong. Now, I actually like the fact that crowd control is placed on tanks. I think it's strange when it's not on tanks, but yeah, that Ravenous Vortex is going to be super strong. Talking of super strong, look at this ultimate. This ultimate is called Annihilation, and it never ends. Provided there are enemies in range of this ability and you are hitting them, you notice how it latches onto the enemies. You can see the big area of effect when the camera zooms out. It will just stay active, and you're probably wondering what this does. Well, it creates a spreading swarm of nanobots that creep out in front of you, dealing damage and reducing enemy damage dealt by 50%. So if you're in a team fight, I think, to be honest, not even a team fight, this in overtime is going to be dead powerful. You imagine, like, you're saving your ultimate, it's an overtime push, and the enemy are trying to, like, I don't know, trickle into you, into your team. Maybe not even that, because you're probably just going to kill them all. But just an overtime fight in general, you just run onto the payload with this guy, or onto the point. It's just going to be, oh, well, no one's doing any damage now. I guess you all die. This might just be an I win button in team fights. I think that's what I'm getting at. It's a bit late over here in the UK, so I am rambling a little bit, but I think this is this is disgusting. I think Ravenous Vortex is probably his most disgusting ability. All right, then. So this is kind of like just a look at the way he plays comboing through abilities. So you see him sort of deploy his barrier, which I think is, you know, again, a really good ability. His primary fire is doing a lot of damage there to Orisa. Okay, they're all headshots. Then he goes into Nemesis form, throws a Ravenous Vortex to slow people down and bash their brains out with Pummel. And I guess that's the other thing, right? If he's got slow movement, you can use Ravenous Vortex to stop people from getting away from you so you can catch up with them. I mean, he does visibly catch up with them quite quick. I think this hero is going to be OP. I'm just going to throw that out there because, I think he's going to be OP. Now, there's a lot of things that can change with this hero. There's a lot of stuff they can tweak. It just looks crazy. I mean, he's doing a ton of range damage for a tank. Then he's doing massive amounts of close range damage. He's got a slow. He's got a root. He's got an ultimate that just reduces damage by 50%. This hero is going to be disgusting. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening or watching the video. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. This could possibly be the most OP hero we've ever seen in Overwatch. All right, guys, I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. See you soon.